We're live.
Yay! Hello and welcome back to Book Chats with Mostly Books. I'm Jody.
I'm Jen.
And we are back. It's Friday night. I just wanted to make a note that I laughed that last week we both wore the same shirt. And this week it was like we really didn't want that to happen, so we both wore non-bookstore shirts. Anyway, it just made me laugh. Tonight we are talking about Once Ghosted, Twice Shy by Alyssa Cole. It is another novella. It is a romance novella. Mm-hmm. And Jen is going to tell us what it's about. Do you like that?
So it follows two side characters from another series, Lacazzi and Fabiola. So like they met, had like a 3-day whirlwind. They call them the fair in the book, which I was like, that sounds very illicit for you guys not having to keep it a secret from anyone, really. So they have, it's like a few days, they're together, and then Lacazzi gets a text from Fab. It's like, I can't do this anymore. We knew it was going to end. I'm done. And that's the last bit of contact they have. And now it's like several months later, Lacazzi is back in Manhattan, and she runs into Fab on the subway. And they spend the day together. And that's what the novella is, their day together.
Their day. One day.
One day.
Wow. That's funny when you say it like that, because a lot of things happen.
Yeah, a lot of things happen.
Okay. First question. We'll get back to like the did you like it parts. But was Lacazzi there the whole time? I forget. Did she come back to Manhattan, or was she there the full 7 months? That is in between their whirlwind romance and when they meet up on the subway.
I don't think she was there the full 7 months, because I think she said she's been there a while.
Okay, I was thinking like she'd been there a while.
A few months, but not the whole time, I don't think.
Okay, that might be what it was. Because I was like, I feel like you've been here for a while now.
Yeah, it's not...
Okay.
It's like the first day she's had off, but she's been in the city a while.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know why. I
think that's what it was.
Spaced on that for some reason, and I'm not sure why that was. Anyway, did you like it?
I did like it.
Yeah.
It was really sweet, and like, it was just like a good, sweet read, and emotionally compelling and emotionally realistic. So
and emotionally satisfying.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
That too. Because there's sometimes you'll read a book, and if it has like a romance subplot in it, and you're just like, I don't buy it. I don't get it. But these two, they're really cute. They pined for like 7 months.
Both of them. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
And I agree. Like, this felt very genuine. It didn't feel, like you said, with some of those sub-romance plots, it feels very like, I needed something else to keep this going.
Yeah.
So I'm going to add this. It's not that at all. Like,
yeah. It's a miscommunication trope, but it, like, you buy that it's a miscommunication. Yeah. It doesn't feel like, oh my god, just talk to each other. Which I've had that with books. This one, it's like, okay, I get
why.
Yeah, like why you're not talking to each other.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Before we get too spoilery, because granted, this is a pretty short book, so we'll probably get to spoilers pretty quickly tonight. Sorry about that, but yeah, that's just how that's gonna go.
Yeah.
Before we get there, what did you think of Lacazzi?
I liked her. Also, she's very stylish. They're both very stylish, which I liked.
I did too, and stylish in very different ways.
Yeah.
I mean, one was more like vintage,
dapper, like dandy. What was her screen name? It was Dandy something.
Dandy something. Oh, that's terrible. We don't remember. We'll have to put that in the comments.
It only shows up like twice.
Yeah,
so that's why we don't.
But she was very. I think dapper was also a good way of putting it in her. Professional. She is.
Like starched shirts, Oxfords, brogues.
Now, let's keep in mind that Lacazzi is the personal assistant to a prince, so she needs to keep up an appearance, and she does it well. Whereas Fab is very much your vintage, like, I don't, like, she's also very, like, maybe more artsy stylized, and she designs jewelry. So she's very...
She has, like, her hair in pin curls. She wears bright red lipstick and has, like, belled skirts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they both look great.
Did you like this?
I did like this. I thought it was very much an Alyssa Cole book.
Because it was your pick.
Was it my pick?
I think so.
Yeah, I guess it was probably my pick. Why not? Let's do romance. It's Pride Month. Why not?
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. Like I said, I read The Duke by default, so I was already an Alyssa Cole fan. I think her stories are fun, and I love her quirky characters. I will say these two aren't quite as quirky as Portia is, but that's okay. I still loved them. Yeah, it was just a feel-good read, I think, and the whole point of reading a romance is it's going to end happily, so you kind of sometimes need that.
Which I didn't know until you told me.
Oh, yeah, that's the caveat for being in that genre. Otherwise, it could be a fiction if they don't all end up happily ever after. So, you liked both of the girls.
I did.
I should say ladies, not girls. Yeah, me too. And do you want to talk about anything? Let's talk about maybe the writing style.
Yeah, or also last week you brought up that you were expecting cursing in this book.
I did.
And?
There was some. Not as much as I had expected.
Which was funny because you told me that, and I was at a point in the book where I was like, oh yeah, there was one, but I was only 10 pages in or whatever. And then I got to a few pages where there's one, a couple. I was like, Jody, did we read the same book? There's plenty. And then it there wasn't any for the rest of the book.
And then it petered out.
Yeah, it's oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And again, it was probably partly the characters. It was very apropos for Portia to do that, and maybe not so in character for these guys to do that. Yeah. I can't really see Lacassie cussing.
Well, no, because it was really funny because
but she did in her mind, I guess.
Yeah, Fob would be about to cuss or use a phrase that had a curse word in it, and then she'd change it, and she'd be like, and this crap.
Right, she totally self-edited as she was vocalizing it.
Yeah,
that was funny. I laughed at that, and it did have the Alyssa Cole humor, which I love too. And so yeah, definitely a good romance.
It was really funny. It was funny. I don't read humor or light things very often. We figured this out when I was like, what have you read that has a light pastel cover? And I could think of 2.
So we're branching Jen off into some more light pastel colored, fluffy, humorous reads.
Not pastel, but it is lighter than I usually read, yeah.
The tones are still lighter, maybe a little bit.
It's not a black hardbound.
Yeah. That's fair. So yeah, I definitely liked it. And then, what did you think of the
writing
way
style?
It's written? Yeah,
I like how it's written because I like when books switch between points of view, especially. Well, ensemble casts are fun. They're hard to do and to have you care about each character equally. But then when it's only one or two or maybe three perspectives, it feels tighter. So this one only switches between two, and it worked well because you get both sides of the relationship. So you're not rooting for one of them more than the other, or feel like one of them got cheated or whatever.
Right, and I also really liked that one was written in present tense and one was in past, so that we saw what was happening today, and then we found out what happened. We
figured out how they meet.
And how they ended, and then as well. So I enjoyed that as well. Because then you kind of had the running perspectives that were going to meet in the middle. Because, Lacassie was really upset and really hurt and felt really... But betrayed's not quite the right word, but... I mean,
a little bit, though.
She was heartbroken with that last text of, we're done. I can't do this. We're done. We just need to end it. So she was pretty upset. And so it was interesting seeing that, where Fob was more... She had her reasons. Let's just say that for the moment. Or do we just want to jump in and spoil?
Well, the last text that Lacassie gets is just, sorry, no. Can we discuss this? Sorry, no. And then that's it. That's all the contact they had.
So that's pretty upsetting. So I could see being pretty heartbroken for 7 months. I mean, considering you thought this was perhaps the love of your life.
Yeah.
So it was interesting seeing her perspective, and then seeing Fob, who was like, well, that wasn't totally what happened.
Yeah, because you just get this perspective, and geez, that's cold.
But you don't get it at the you get her Lacassie now, and then you get Fob in the beginning of their relationship. So you're working towards what really transpired, and I liked that with the writing.
It felt like if it were a movie that like the winter parts, so Lakatsu's like present time parts have like a gray or a blue filter over, and then the past parts in spring have like more of a golden filter. Yep. Because it's warm. Yeah, and I kept thinking of that while I was reading it.
Can we tell that she does all of our social media posts and you tone all of our images and make them look fabulous? I so appreciate that.
Just put a filter over it. But I did like that, and it had like, so it's a different point of view in the chapter, in the alternating chapters, but also different times, so it keeps them very like clear, so you're not like, wait, when did that happen?
Yeah,
which helps.
Yeah, I agree, especially because a lot happened in a very short amount of time in this book.
Yeah.
So that, well, sort of related to the writing, what do you think when authors do like a mixed media and they put in the text, or they put in news clippings and those other little added things?
I usually like it. It's just like ephemera, like if books will have that in it, like the library books have it. Red, White, Royal Blue had text messages,
emails.
Yeah, and emails. So I think it's cool because then the tone is different. Like how your characters are going to speak in an email is different than how your characters are going to speak to each other, or even speak in their own heads. So you get like more character building in a way, but it depends on like what's there in them.
In that message,
I've read a book with text messages in it, and it's super cringy.
Ooh.
And it's just like,
can you tell us which book?
Do you want me to?
I kind of do.
I read Beastly.
Oh, I've heard mixed things.
It dates itself very much, and it's.
I mean, it was written quite a while ago. So.
Yeah, I think it was like mid 2000s maybe.
Oh, no, I would have said like. Oh, I was gonna say like 2008, 2007.
Something like that.
I could be totally wrong.
But it's like, yeah, that one didn't age super well for the text parts of it.
It's interesting how things do
and
that.
The screen names for some of the characters. So that's when it gets a little but like this, it's only in here a little bit, and it was fine.
Yeah, I personally love it in books, but again, it has to be done appropriately, and most of the books that I've read have been done appropriately.
Yeah.
But I think it really shows a different side of the characters, and I also think it makes it more realistic, like, because that's how we are in our life. We're very, texting, emailing, very techy.
Well, you read also more like realistic fiction than I do, so it makes sense for your for the books you're reading that characters to have.
I think it would be very weird in a fantasy world. Okay, you're right. I don't want it in my fantasies necessarily. Well, no, that would be more sci-fi. But yeah, in a more contemporary setting, if done well, I really like it.
Yeah.
I know I always say it. Night Film did it such a good job. That one had everything. But I also really liked in Red, White, and Royal Blue. You're right. The emails were fabulous, as were the texts. I mean, and you saw such a fun side of the characters in that. Okay, back to this book. I kind of feel like maybe we should just say spoilers from here, so we can like talk about more of what happened and feelings towards that. Just because I'm afraid I might say something that I shouldn't say. So.
Yeah, because there's like a big thing that we're talking around. Yeah, and we should talk about that. Yeah. Okay.
So, spoilers from here. Before we get to the big thing that we're talking about, first off, do you believe in love at first sight?
Probably not.
Because they both were like, I fell in love with you basically right away.
Because it's something that's like, oh, that's not real. But then it's like people who have it, that's like, oh, well, yeah, it's real for you.
So it's, you don't believe it unless it actually happens to you. Is that what you're telling me?
I guess, yeah.
So you're not closing the door on it. You're just saying it's maybe not the norm?
Yeah, well, because you can't really prove a negative in some senses.
Yeah, I don't know how you
like, if you, yeah, anyway. I don't know. It's not something I really think about.
Right. Okay, the second question is, okay, so...
Oh, wait, do you?
Yes. I do. Kind of.
That's cute, though.
But that's kind of how I feel about my husband and my relationship.
Aww.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that schmoopy? Don't tell him I said that.
We're recording!
So, yeah, I do. But that could also be the rose-colored filter that I remember. So it could be that. Maybe they're just doing a rose-colored filter as well. Second question. So, Lakotsi, was upset, genuinely upset, totally heartbroken, runs into Fob and is like...
And Fob like runs into her train car.
Yeah, and like does this whole like...
And she's...
photo airdropping on the subway, and
that was her. Oh yeah, I forgot about that part.
Sort of creepstery, because you're like in the middle of a subway car that's like stalled for whatever reason.
Also, how'd she know that was her phone? Did it come up as like Lakatsi's iPhone?
No, it came up as Dandy whatever.
Oh right.
So we will put the Dandy name in the comment, but yes, that's how she's like, it had to be you. Who else is called this?
Yeah.
So she does this whole like video thing to get Lakatsi's like attention.
Yeah.
And then she's like, hey, cool, you're here. I'm so excited. Let's go have lunch. And Lakatsi is like, okay, I guess, but only because I want to know what happened.
Yeah, and she's also like, this is a bad idea. I shouldn't follow her. I should just like...
But then maybe the only way through this heartbreak is through it, is
yeah.
what she says. So my question to you is, would you go? Would you go with Fob, who's destroyed your heart, and be like, yes, let's see what happened?
Probably not. I would have been, if this was done, then, like, right. It's done. Like, you made this very clear.
Me too. I will totally agree on that. And I kind of was like, well, initially, Fob kind of ignores her...
I got the screen name.
What's the screen name?
Dandy Queen.
Dandy
no
Queen.
Spaces. And the D, Dandy, and then Q and Queen are capitalized.
Yes, that's so perfect. And funny because she works with royalty too. Anyway. So she keeps Fob keeps avoiding the question of, why didn't you respond?
Mm-hmm.
And even still, Lakatsi goes with her. I'm just not sure I could do that.
Yeah, it just... Like, at the beginning, like, before we found out, like, why Fob had, like, done it, I was kind of like,
This is not a good plan.
Like, this is not a good plan. Like, she said she's been just as heartbroken over you, but then if she knows how hurt you are, and she's just, like, going along with this without, like, explaining herself to you, it seems, like, a little weird.
It was totally bizarre. And
it was 3 days. Or, like, a few days, or a week, or whatever.
Hey, sometimes you just know. I agree. Like, I was kind of like, she's not answering you, but telling you she was just as heartbroken, but she did this.
Yeah.
So, why would you want to go and get your heart smashed even further?
Yeah, or, like, you didn't get any answers before. Like, why do you think it'll be different this time?
Especially when she's avoiding it right now.
Yeah.
When you're staring at her. Mm-hmm. But thankfully she goes with her.
Yeah.
She was not us.
Well, I was wondering if it's like, because Fob deleted, oh wait, should we tell what, like, happened first?
So, the big thing is, yes, go ahead and tell them what the big thing is.
So, Fob's aunt. It's her aunt. Her aunt that she's very close to, and, like, her family's all very close. Like, her mother and, like, her younger cousin. They're all very close, but her aunt has, like, an immigration meeting for her immigration status.
Which is normal. Like, they have her yearly meeting.
Yeah, and she's been in the country, like, 20 years, I think. Yep. Yeah, because her cousin's born there. Her cousin's 17.
Mm-hmm.
So, the meeting was supposed to go, like, normal, fine. She gets detained.
She gets detained, yeah. I think that's a word I was going to use.
Yeah, and they, like, Fob calls the lawyer, and, like, there's nothing she can really do, and, like, she has to take in her 17-year-old niece as she becomes her legal guardian. Mm-hmm. Like, overnight, basically.
Within a matter of, hours, really. And she was the only one living in Manhattan. Her parents are in Florida, so she was the only one that could take in her cousin.
Yeah,
and they didn't want to uproot
her in her senior year of high school. Mm. Yeah.
On top of the fact that her mom is still there, but detained there. Mm-hmm. And they don't really know why.
It didn't... Yeah, it wasn't really clear. It didn't seem like we really needed to know why either.
No.
It was just like...
Yeah, it was just upsetting.
Yeah.
So that was the big thing. And so basically Fob got overwhelmed, I think. And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm not sure how I can deal with a relationship that is either going to end or become long distance across an ocean.
Which neither of them wanted. Like, both of them went into it with, like, this is just a fling, this is not long term, and then they both caught feelings.
So it was very much that I'm shutting the door before I get hurt even further.
Yeah. And, like, she was getting ready for a date with Lakatsi, like a gala event.
Yeah, where she was going to find out who she worked for.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, so much would have been if you just got on the date, but like that was just another. She just couldn't handle that.
No, and I think that was exactly why she deleted the app instead of looking at those texts.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been painful.
Yeah.
So she just basically cut and moved forward, which I get. I don't know. I would have been overwhelmed.
Cut her losses.
Yeah. I would have been overwhelmed because she's like young 20s and now a guardian of a teenager who normally you just get to be the cool cousin to, and now you have to be this authoritative figure.
She's like that. She's like, I've only ever been the cool older cousin. Like, how am I supposed to be her rock and like a guardian to her? Yeah.
And knowing that it was going to be upsetting because I cannot even imagine coming home and finding that out that my mom was detained. That would Can't even imagine the trauma. So I feel Fab had just reasons in doing what she did. I don't know if it was done the best way, but I get why she did it.
Yeah. It's like, well, it's like if you're that, like you have that many emotions running that, and it's like painful ones, you're not going to be making
good decisions.
Yeah, you're emotionally compromised.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. And I think she just, like you said, there were so many emotions. She felt overwhelmed. Her parents were pressuring her to take her cousin in. I don't think that she ever wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of additional pressure, it felt like, from her mom.
But then she had to put her own, like, career plans on hold. So, like, things she wanted to do. Or it's like, she's like, no, it's my family. I'm going to help them. But also
it's upsetting still. Yeah. And I think that was fair to feel those feelings. So then she sees Lakatsi in the subway, and I thought, why not? One more day.
Yeah, or I wonder if it was, testing's not the right word, but, like, would Lakatsi, like, want to try again? Like, if she did cut her off, like, she's aware that she did that. Well. But then, like, would she still want to even talk to me?
And I think she was having that whole thought that their whirlwind romance, every time they ended, they said, one more day. Mm-hmm. And so I think she was hoping that this one more day today would really turn into something more.
And it did.
And it did. Because it's a romance, and we love that. Yeah. So, yeah, but it was interesting because she definitely... Well, what did you think of the way she finally got around to telling Lakatsi what happened? I mean, it was a pretty long time into the day before she told her what happened.
It's like, I get like for our plot structure, it makes sense that we have to hold this out till the end, and we can't like say it on page 1 like, oh yeah, this is why. But also it's not an easy thing to talk about, and there is the trust there, so I think they had to kind of rebuild to like get to a point where they both understood that like each other were staying. Yeah. And that would give the other a second chance. Yeah. So. And I think it was fair to say that they were, like you said, feeling each other out to see how they felt, because each of them, in many ways, I think felt like, how could I have fallen in love this fast? Yeah. And if I did it, there's no way they could have. But they did too. They did. I know. I did like the caught feelings, like that phrase. I thought that was cute. Yeah, it used a lot of phrases like I'm very familiar with and have used. It's a very much written for millennials and younger, for romance-wise, which is why I sometimes say it's not your mama's romance. Aren't you technically a millennial? Yes. Yeah. Yes. It's for me. It's written for me, too. Yeah. I don't know. Aging me. The cutoffs are... I looked them up at one point to try and figure out, like, what is a millennial, it's all over the gambit. Yeah. Because aren't you, like, the end... Technically, I'm not. Are you depending the next generation? Whatever the I have no idea what the next one is. I don't know what you guys. But I'm not Gen Z. I don't think. What's in between? If you're not Gen Z, I don't know. She's just in the middle. I am neither Gen Z nor a millennial. I just have suffering. I'm the very top of the millennial, so I kind of relate to them, but kind of don't. Yeah. So I get it. So you can kind of relate to them and kind of not as well. Yeah, but just on the other spectrum. Yeah, whenever it's those articles of millennials killed. Insert whatever product I feel like it means. It's Jen. Feels like my age group. It was all Jen. Yes, I killed the fabric softener industry. That was an article. Very upsetting. I was just like, what? That's so random. Okay, sorry, we're digressing. Is there anything... Oh. You want to talk about their cute dates they had over the course of the day? Yes, and I want to talk about the epilogue. Okay.
What about the cute days is initially where I was headed until we digressed on millennial and not millennial.
They went to eat dim sum, and I was like, oh, wait, now I want dim sum.
I know. I love that day. So we should note that they're doing things off of
Lakatsi's How to Get Over Heartbreak bucket list. Or Forgetting Fabiola bucket list.
Forgetting Fabiola, yeah.
And it's a mix of, like, things she hasn't done, but also going back to places they went. And, like, and I'm just like, why would you go back? That just seems, oh, man.
Didn't that seem like knife and heart?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was like, dang.
I thought that, or even doing, so it was things to go back to that they've already done or things that they talked about doing in the future. I mean, it was all like, oh, I don't know if I could put myself through that.
Yeah, the Forgetting Fabiola itinerary.
Yeah.
1, Brighton Beach. 2, Chinatown, in parentheses, soup dumplings. 3, Fashion District. 4, Morgan Library. I wish they had gone to the library.
But me too.
That would have been cool.
Mm-hmm.
5, Roosevelt Island Tram. 6, Plaza Hotel Bar. 6, Laquais Sa Laquais for the egg/hot dog appetizer, where they had their first date.
Yeah, that was cute. So they did the dim sum, and they did the plaza bar, didn't they, at the end? Oh, maybe they didn't.
No, that was where they went after not their first date, but like the first time, their first 3 days or whatever.
Okay.
Because that's where Lakatsi was staying.
Right. And then she wasn't staying there the second time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I thought the dates were really fun. The ice skating was cute.
The museum in the elevator.
Oh my gosh, the museum sounded so amazing.
Yeah.
So it was a museum and a little elevator shaft, and it had the like weird things like lost shoes, like one shoe that was found on the subway tracks.
Yeah.
Which all I thought was, oh, I hope that everyone is okay. So they were super cute. Yeah, it was a very perfect day, and so it was good that it ended well, and everyone liked each other again. What did you think of the epilogue?
The epilogue was cute. Okay, see, the book, and so it has an epilogue, but there's still like a decent chunk of pages left. So I was very confused. I was like, is this a long epilogue? Is there like a chapter within the epilogue?
Is it doing something weird?
It's like a preview of the next book. Yeah. Which I was like, oh man, I thought I had more pages to go. But the epilogue is very cute, and it's, I don't know, it's like what we needed to have, so it's like we see them moving forward together.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I liked that it felt like they were going to try to make this work.
And they had been trying to make this work. Because it's like a year after.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I'm
like the following okay, so it's the following spring, fun, winter. So it's not a whole year.
It's a few months, yeah. But yeah, so they've been trying. And it seems like she's going to be in Manhattan for a while. At least off and on. So it's doable.
Because she said her boss is very soft for happy endings.
Because if you read... what is it? The Princess in Theory. You'll get his story. He found love too. So, that was really good.
You want to say what happens in the epilogue?
Go for it.
I was going to give you a chance to explain plot.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
It's okay.
I can do that if you'd like.
Go for it.
So, the end is where Lakatsi goes and meets Fab's family, and her aunt has been released because of Lakatsi.
Yeah.
She had strings, which is somewhat was infuriating because I was like, had you just gone on this date, this could have all been resolved.
Or like Lakatsi says, like, one of them says, I think it might be Fab, like, something's going, like, I'm just having family troubles, like, something happened. And even that moment, Lakatsi's like, oh, something did happen. So she didn't just, like, dump me.
Yeah, it was more than that.
But then Lakatsi's like, oh, I know a lot of people. I could see what I could do. And Fab's like, no, I don't think you know anyone that could fix this.
Yes, I think that was said during their date, right?
Yeah, so then I thought, like, is it a medical thing? Like, if you don't, like, it's just something doctors can't fix.
Right.
But...
She just didn't realize the power Lakatsi has. Yeah. So it was great. So the aunt is out. Everybody, the daughter and aunt have been reunited. Which means that Fab can go on to continue doing her jewelry. It was great. Everybody was excited to meet her, and it was a warm hug.
Yeah.
And I loved that with the family members.
It was really cute.
A side note, did you know, it was hinted at that the aunt wasn't going to have a successful meeting. Did you get that was going to be the problem?
No.
Or were you surprised when that was the problem?
I couldn't tell what it was about. because Lise, yeah, because they're saying like Lise is worried, but then it has like Fobs has a nightmare, and then she's like, wait, Lise had one too, and I was like, wait, why are you all having like inherited nightmares? I don't know. I wasn't sure where this was gonna go.
Yeah, I think I figured this was gonna be the problem when her mom called about it and was like, you need to. She was. I don't remember what she was saying. Maybe that was like it was in the phone call where she told her what happened. It was the phone call before that.
Yeah, it was the phone
like,
call.
You need to go see your aunt. You need to help her out. Make sure everything's okay.
Yeah.
So at that point, I was kind of like, oh, this isn't going to go well. But I'm not sure I got that was how she was going to end it because of that. Because I didn't get she'd have to be the guardian or anything.
Yeah, I was like, okay, there's like some sort of family trouble happened, but I wasn't getting like specifically what kind of family trouble it was.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Any last thoughts on this book?
I don't know. I liked it.
Are you going to read another Alyssa Cole?
Maybe one day, yeah.
I do like the Reluctant Royals. Reluctant. What is the series?
Isn't it Reluctant Royals?
It is the Reluctant Royals.
Yeah.
I know my series names. Yeah. I need to read the rest of them now. Because I thought they were, anyway, delightful. So I thought we should also mention, if you are a romance reader and want more like discussions on romance books, you should check out the local podcast, The Phoenix Nest.
Yeah.
We have enjoyed, they've actually done a podcast here for Romance Bookstore Day last year.
Pre-pandemic.
Yeah, back when life happened. But anyway, they still are doing podcasts. So if you want more romance, you should definitely go check them out wherever you listen to your podcasts. They're pretty fab. Right, I did that intentionally. So there's my plug for them. Switching up, do you want to tell us what we're reading next week?
Yeah. We're arguably reading another romance novel, kind of.
And another novella.
Yeah. We're reading This Is How You Lose a Time War by Amal El-Motar and Max Gladstone. And I have read this before, so I'm very excited for us to talk about it. It's science fiction. But also very much romance. It's enemies to lovers, time-traveling spies who also write letters to each other and fall in love.
Yeah, it should be good.
It's very good. It's also very weird, so if you kind of like your weird sci-fi time travel... I said time traveling, right? Yeah, time traveling.
I did say time traveling.
There's time traveling! But yeah, if you like your kind of weird sci-fi with, like, interesting language, like, this is a good one.
I will say this is not my normal genre, sci-fi, so it'll be good to get something else. That'll be fun. I don't think we've done any sci-fi.
We're usually more fantasy.
We do tend to be more heavily fantasy-driven. So
like,
this will be good.
Yeah.
Changing it up.
Yeah. And
it's our last official book for Pride Month, but we always encourage you to continue.
And we're going to continue, too.
Exactly.
That's kind of how it goes. It's just extra focused this month.
It has been extra focused. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So
Check in next week if you want to, read it before we spoil everything. Definitely go onto our website, mostlyBooksAZ.com. You can also call us, and we will put that aside for you, and you can pick it up curbside.
And it's also a very good audiobook. That's how I read this the first time.
Oh, that's a good one. So Libra FM, if you want your audio.
And there's a link for that on our website, too.
So a good narrator, then.
Yeah, it's audio. And also, it's like they're reading letters to each other.
Did they do 2 narrators, or is it 1 narrator?
Because
I'm assuming that there's 2 point of views.
Yeah, there's 2 points of view. I don't remember if it's like one person who does 2 voices or 2 different people, but you like can. There's a difference between them from what I remember.
I didn't have a hard time.
Yeah, I didn't have a hard time keeping blue and red as separate characters.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Sometimes, even when they like switch voices, it's sometimes hard to tell or annoying depending. So it's always good to know you have a good narrator. All right, I think that's the end.
Yeah.
All right, see you guys next week. Bye.